Welcome back, everybody. I know the videos have been sporadic. I have been traveling a lot. I just got back last night from Japan. Thankfully, I should be home, I hope, knock on wood somewhere, for a couple of weeks. So I should be able to get back to the plane. In this video, I'm going to throw together my engine dehydrator. It is not my original plan. This is a backup to get me by for a little while, so we're going to go over that. But first, I do want to say shout out to JD Air Parts. I came home and had the yoke that I was missing from my last shipment. They got that out right away. This is what it looks like. It is gorgeous when you put the fork in it. Oh yeah, fits all nice, spins really nice, beautiful part. Not going to need it for a long time, but I bought it because it had a show special at Oshkosh, so that's why I have it now. I did just make another purchase for something that's going to go inside the plane, the fuselage as we go. We'll get to that when it finally shows up, hopefully next week sometime. But back to this. I have removed all the parts from the engine that I'm going to remove for right now. I have bought some anti-rust oil to replace the engine oil. That is all up in there and good to go. I have put a mist of Croil inside of each of the cylinders to coat all of that. And I got these dehydrator plugs in the top cylinders. I didn't want to put them in the bottom ones because I was afraid any of that excess oil might drip down into them. So I have a backup set of these because I got 8 of them. It just means I should be able to recharge one set while another set's in there. On to the engine dehydrator. I bought a dry bot. Horribly expensive. My method for why I decided to go with it was because I'm gone for long periods of time for work, and the nice thing about the dry bot is when it senses that its desiccant has absorbed all it can absorb, it goes through a recycle phase and it dries itself out and it's good to go again. A homemade dehydrator, you have to dry out your own beads periodically, which isn't that big of a deal if you're around all the time, but since I can't guarantee I'm going to be here when it needs to be done, and I really want to make sure that the inside of that engine stays nice, I spent the money on the dry bot. When this thing's parked in a hangar later on, I think that'll be a nice way to go. The downside was not advertised when I bought it from Aircraft Spruce, but it was on back order. It's on back order for a little over a month. This engine lived in Phoenix. It is now living in Houston. I don't want to see what Houston humidity is going to do to it. I did buy a 3-pack of these little remote temperature humidity sensors, and they've been running since the engine got here, and the average humidity in the garage has been about 65 to 69% humidity. That's a little too high. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for my really expensive dry bot to show up, I went and did what I would have done without it. I bought an air pump and some plumbing fittings and some desiccant, air stones, and everything else to put together my own engine dehydrator to use until the really nice dehydrator shows up. If this runs out of beads or the beads get soaked in this, hopefully it'll at least last a month, and then I won't have to worry about it so much. And I'll find a repurposed use for most of this, I think, later on anyways. Not a big deal. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the rest of this thing together. This is going to be the end of the intro talky part, and then I'll do a normal GoPro video up here on the bench as I assemble the rest of this, and then we'll go down to the engine towards the end, and I'll do an outro video, and I'll show you everything that was done to the engine and my methodology behind why I did what I did. Anyways, you know how it goes. Stick around. VoiceOver Tim will get you caught up on how this goes, and we'll see what happens. Okay, here's the voiceover part. As you can see, there's the pump. I'll leave links below for everything that I bought. This is 4-inch plumbing. It's a 4-inch, I think it's a clean out. I bought a 3-inch end cap, and that fit on the inside of the bottom to give me a nice flat surface. These are 4-inch air stones. I like the size and shape of these, especially since the tube fitting goes right in the middle. It seemed like it'd be perfect for this application. Came in a 2-pack, so whether I wanted it or not, I got 2 of them. And the tubing I bought is 3/8 diameter interior diameter tubing, and I bought that because that's what it said the outlet on the pump was. And I mean, it kind of is, but I probably could have gone the next size down. Nothing a few zip ties as clamps can't fix for you. Now I'm just testing it out, making sure it is getting airflow going through it. Off camera, obviously, I put those threaded inserts in the plumbing Y there. Those are, I think they're 4-inch inserts. They're meant to go around the outside of a pipe, but they actually fit the inside of this as well. And then I just bought some end caps for those. All told, I spent a lot more money than I wanted to on what's going to be a temporary fix, but compared to what the engine is worth, it's kind of a drop in the bucket. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that this engine stays corrosion free and healthy while it sits in this garage. Anyhow, back to the build. Started out with the drill bit there. Not sure why. The unibit works so much better. And I bought these bulkhead barb fittings, again, off of Amazon. And again, I will leave links to them down below if you want to use the same sort of thing. If you're planning to build something like this. They got a little Teflon gasket, and that's it. You just make a hole and stick the thing in there and tighten it down. I just made them hand tight. You don't need to go crazy with it. It'll just deform the plastic. Now here I'm kind of screwing up. I'm not going to catch it for a little bit, but this isn't the hole that I wanted the inlet line to go to. I just wasn't thinking about it. And I'm not going to catch it till I put desiccant in it. No sealant or anything on any of these. Again, don't need it. This thing's not going to have any real pressure through it. It's just going to have, what that pump can put out. There's the stone sitting down in the bottom. It nestles in there perfectly. And now I'm dumping the desiccant in. Can't remember what size that is, but it was pretty perfect. It covered the stone completely and came part way up into the Y. If I was going to build this and just keep this as my primary form of engine dehydrator, I'd probably have 2 of these, so I could have one that's dry and ready to go at all times and one that I needed to recycle. So yeah, I just looked in there and realized I put the tube in the wrong opening, so I need to get the desiccant back out. And you can see that zip tie didn't hold very well. Get the air stone out. Next go around, I'll adjust the tension on my little zip tie tool so it pulls it a whole lot tighter than it did. And this time, go in through the Y portion. Now contemplating life choices on how I'm going to get the desiccant back in there without spilling any of it. You can see I thought for a second there that I might be able to pour it in, but we'll just make a funnel. Make sure we don't make a mess. Not a single bead dropped. All right, now I'm sticking one of the 3 temperature humidity sensors in there. And I bought these HEPA filters because I don't want any particulate from the silica or any of that stuff to make its way into the engine. And this is a 4-inch, I think it's 4.1 inch round HEPA filter. I think it's made for vacuum cleaners and it fits pretty well. I'm just going to wrap a few layers of electrical tape around it to make it snug when it goes in. So now hopefully you kind of get the idea there. The air is going to pump in through the one line, pump up through the desiccant, through this filter, and then I'll make another hole in another end cap, and I'll put the last little bulkhead fitting in there. So the air will come out of the top of the filter, go in through that fitting, and then get connected to the hose, and then that is going to go into the engine. And I screwed these on, again, just hand tight. I want to be able to open this thing up and get in there to get the desiccant out and recharge it if I have to. But that's it. That's the bulk of the desiccant tube, as we're going to call it. I did find a file online. I'll try and link that below if I can as well, to 3D print a oil filler cap. But the file was really small. I had to print it a couple of times and keep upsizing the percentage until it actually fit like it was supposed to. I think I ended up going like 107 or 108% of what it originally was. And since my tubing is so much bigger, I'm also having to drill the hole out just a little bit to make sure it'll fit through it. In the end, it all worked out well. And that is how it's going to get attached to the engine. I'm going to pull probably about 6 inches of that through so it goes down the tube a little bit. And that's it. So now we need to go over to the engine and get it all set up. So I'm just showing you there the desiccant cartridges put in, and everything else that's been removed and taped off. Kind of saw it there. The throttle body has a desiccant pack that I shoved up inside of it, and then I taped over the end of it to seal it off. So hopefully that's keeping things on the intake side dry. That little wooden stand is what I made to hold the engine for now. Is the best I could come up with, because the methods for attaching it to a regular car engine dolly were just sketchy at best, and I didn't like the way any of that looked. This is at least stable, and I can roll it around and put it where it needs to go. So now I'm getting everything hooked up. It feeds in through the oil fill cap, and then the exhaust air is going to come out from the regular breather line, which is at the top of the accessory case there. And now I'm checking what the initial level is, and here's a screenshot of what that looks like. You can pause it if you want to, but it was 21% and 80 degrees in the desiccant tube at that time. It's now been running for about an hour. The temperature has gone up, which I expected. That little pump's going to make the air hot. But we are looking at 113 degrees is what it's gone up to in the desiccant tube now, and the humidity is down to 12.9% from 62%. Again, that's right there in the desiccant tube, so that's going to be the driest it's ever going to be anywhere. Once I get this thing sealed up the way I think I'm going to later, which I'll explain here in a minute, I'll have another sensor that'll kind of read what's coming out of the engine. Anyhow, getting the pump secured, because it vibrates and it wants to move all over the place. I think right there on the cart is a good place for it for now. And yeah, I'll explain this here in a second. Needless to say, that didn't work. So a few shots showing you what it all looks like in the engine the way it is now, and then we'll go into an outro where I'll explain things from the garage. And that's it for voiceover, Tim. All right, so that's it. That's the dehydrator setup and in action now. We will see how well this does. I can definitely feel dry air blowing out of here, and yeah, it's actually coming out fairly good. I can smell the oil. I now have a humidity sensor that is in the garage, and I'll put up a screenshot of what these look like. But I've got one that's just in the garage. I've got one that's in the desiccant container, so I know what the air coming out of here is. And I've got another one that's just sitting in the garage over on the workbench. I can remote monitor those so I can see what this thing is doing. I'm not planning to leave this on all the time. I've got some smart plugs. I'm going to put it on a timer and let it run. But I'm going to get an idea how long it takes to dry things out. The other thing I tried to do, and you just saw me fail at it, I bought these engine bags, And my thought process was I'd put the whole thing in a bag with the pump in the bag with it, so that as the air came out, it wasn't having to constantly dry all the humid air in the garage. It could just recycle what's in the bag with it, and hopefully that would make it drier and make the desiccant last longer. Those bags are clearly made for much smaller engines. It won't go over this thing. So next plan is I'm just going to get some drop cloth. I'll lay that over the engine and just put some heavy things on it or tape it to the floor or something, just to kind of tent this off to try and keep a lot of the humidity out. And I think it'll work a whole lot easier. I'm probably going to do the same thing with the dry bot later on when I get it, because it doesn't do a closed loop system either. And the benefit of that, I'll put like a bucket of damp rid in here or something, so that'll help keep the outside of the engine in some nice dry air too. But for now, it seems to be working, and I'll throw up some screenshots of what the desiccant looks like, or what the humidity sensors look like, and that's it. So as you can see, the engine is as pickled as I can make it for now. Let's see if I can turn this around without unplugging it. I shot it with a little degreaser and just scrubbed off the external areas, being very careful not to get anything on the inside. I'll do some touch up on it, but everything's good to go. Cylinders have been sprayed, desiccant tubes are in. I took the rocker covers off each one and gave it a little spray of Pres oil just so there's something in there. And yeah, oh, and the prop shaft. Let's see if we'll see if you can see this or not. Oh, that thing's actually blown pretty good. Okay. There you go. 3D printed a cover for the prop shaft, just to keep bugs and stuff from trying to make a home in there and keep the dirt from getting in or out. So yeah, hope you found it informative. Aside from putting this thing in a bag and keeping an eye on it, that's pretty much going to be it for the engine for now. It's going to get stored, and we can get back to airplane stuff, because I still have probably a few thousand holes I need to final size drill. But more videos should be coming out fairly regular again, at least for the next few weeks. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Leave me some comments below if you got a better idea, or you think I should do something different. By all means, let me know, because as we said on the podcast, I'm no expert. I don't know what I'm doing, and I will see you all on the next one.